I want to visit one of the fundamental precepts that Equanicity Resources was founded upon, and that was how we help people live a majestic lifestyle.
The thing that got me so excited about Equanicity and working with you from the very beginning was this idea that it is possible for nearly every human being, or at least every human being that's capable of cognitive reasoning and taking action, to improve the quality of their life, to elevate the way in which they go about the living of their lives in every meaningful aspect, whether we're talking about their business life, their career, their relationships with family and friends and siblings and spouses and parents, etc. It is really about how you see yourself in the world and how do you define a majestic life. What does that mean for you? What I have found is that most people really cannot articulate in any meaningful degree what a majestic life would really be for them. And I don't think it's right for me to go around defining it for people and telling other people your life would be more majestic if only you thought this or you believed that or you behaved this way. I think it's something that every one of us has an opportunity every single second that we're alive. We can begin to look at who we are and where we're going and what our life means and what we want to do next and who we want to be next. We have that opportunity every single second that we're alive to think about that, to come to clarity on that, to remove all of the ambiguity. And in doing so, when you strip away all of that ambiguity, what you're left with is clarity about who and what you want to be next and where you want to be next and what your life would be like if it was really the life that you were designing with a state of purpose and a sense of whole being. Now, I think in order to get there, it's a whole-brained approach. You've got to use the left hemisphere of your brain and the right hemisphere of your brain. You can't take any shortcuts with it. But what happens to us is we become so busy and so caught up in complex lifestyles that we're running around doing all these different things, and we lose sight of who we are and where we're going and who we really want to be, and we lose sight of how we're using our time, how we're using our talents, and how we're using our financial and other resources to be who we really want to be and to live a life that is really powerful and really majestic and significant and meaningful to us, and hopefully meaningful to other people. So really, without a whole-brained approach and all of that, you become vulnerable. When you're living in a state of ambiguity and you're not sure about these things, ambiguity invites disaster. And in order to avoid the kinds of disasters that we read about, it's important that we take ownership of who we want to be and where we want to be. And we become the authors of our own destiny. It's not about abdicating that responsibility and turning it over to some author or some consultant or some mentor or some guru or some politician. Would probably even be the worst possible place to put that responsibility. But that's what so many people do. They turn it over to a pastor or whoever it is, and they take that sense of responsibility and they say, help me, take care of me, right? Mm-hmm. So the whole idea of living a majestic life is also about living an empowered life. It's about knowing who and what you want to be next, and it's about living in a state of being that way. And to do it, you've got to use both hemispheres of your brain. You've got to engage your entire spirit in it. And when you do this, when you take left brain and right brain and you put your spirit into it and you do it in a prayerful, meditative way, and you connect with divine source or God, and you bring that component into it, you become a whole being. And you make much better decisions and you have much greater clarity about who you are and where you're going and how you're going to get there and who you're going to need to collaborate with to help you get from here to there. What Equanicity Resources does that excites me so much is it helps people come to clarity about all of these things and then serves as a conduit and a facilitator to help people move themselves from where they are or where they've been to where they really want to be next and who they want to become next. And I don't believe that it makes one iota of difference whether you are 12 years old or whether you're 90 years old. You can still go through that process and come to clarity about who and what you want to be next. Or as one of my clients said to me one day when I was driving him to the airport, he said, "Bruce, do you know what you've done for me and my family?" And at that point in time, we had just come out of a meeting where I'd helped them facilitate a process where they were saving millions of dollars in taxes. And so I was just kind of thinking in that moment, and I said, "Well, Dick, I think what I just did was I helped you save about $8 million in taxes." And he said, yeah, but that's not what I mean. I said, well, what do you mean? He says, "Well, you know." And I said, "Well, I'm a little bit lost right now. I'm sorry. I'm kind of stuck in the left hemisphere of my brain right now. We've been dealing with lawyers and accountants all day." He said, "Bruce, you helped me figure out who and what I want to be next, and you showed me a path to get there. And you connected all the dots for me." And I looked at him and I said, "Dick, I couldn't connect all the dots. All I could do was show you what the dots were and walk you through a process where you self-discover what is the best path for you. You take authorship and ownership of it, and you become who you want to be." And to get there, my friend Dick had to be courageous, and he had to be tough, and he had to have tenacity. And I can't give those things to anybody. Those are things which you cannot ever buy from another person. You have to get that from within yourself and bring it to the surface. So living a majestic life is about living an empowered life. And it is about combining all of these things that I've been talking about for the last few minutes. And that's what I'm really excited about.